Test, test, test. Test 1, 2. Tap.
Call the, actually, I'm going to ask the legislators to join us in the meeting room so that we can get started. Okay. I'm going to call this meeting of the Nassau County Legislature to order. And I'm going to ask Legislator Bill Gaylord to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. If everyone would please rise, face the flag, hand over heart, and join me by saying, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Bill. Mike, could you call the roll, please?
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Roll call. Deputy Presiding Officer Howard Coppell. Here. Alternate Deputy Presiding Officer Denise Ford.
Here.
Legislator Sheila Bino. Here. Thank you. Legislator Carrier Salage.
Here.
Legislator Deborah Muley. Legislator C. William Gaylord III.
Present.
Thank you. Legislator John Giuffre.
Here.
Legislator Mazi Philippe.
Here.
Legislator Delia DeRigi Witten. Legislator James Kennedy.
Here.
Legislator Thomas McKevitt. Legislator Laura Schaefer. Legislator John Ferretti.
Here.
Thank you. Legislator Arnold Drucker. Thank you. Legislator Rose Marie Walker.
Here.
Legislator Joshua Lafazan.
Here.
Thank you, Josh. Legislator Stephen Rhodes. Okay. He is present. Thank you. Minority Leader Kavan Abrahams. Presiding Officer Richard Nicolello.
Here.
We have a quorum, sir.
Okay, thank you. We have, as we always start our meetings with, we have our top cops presentations today, as well as a couple of points of personal privilege. After that, there'll be a public comment period, and anyone who wishes to speak on any item, they can do so during that period, but we ask that you fill out a slip, which you can get from the clerk's tables here, and then we'll put you on the list to speak during the public comment portion, and then following that, there'll be the business portion of the meeting. So to start things off, we would like to recognize our top cops, and first off is the Nassau County PBA. I'm not sure who's presenting. If Tom Shevlin's here? Nope. Kevin Mullock will be here, our first Vice President of the PBA.
Good afternoon, everyone. President Shevlin apologizes he couldn't make it today. And it's a privilege and it's my honor to present the top cops and also the medics today for the month of May 2022. On May 6, 2022, at approximately 6:30 p.m., 5th Precinct officers were dispatched to a call in Franklin Square for a male not breathing at a local restaurant. Police Officer Malone was first on scene and observed the aided being placed on the ground by a few members of the Franklin Square Fire Department. He did not have a pulse and he was not breathing. CPR was activated by the fire department, and Officers Malone and Polzer attached his AED. After shock, they got a pulse back. Police medics Murphy and Katz arrived on scene and attached their monitor to the patient. The patient had shallow breathing and an irregular rhythm. After a second shock, the patient had a stronger pulse and better breathing. The patient was placed in a police ambulance and was administered medicine through an IO, which is an intraosseous infusion. That is when the police medic drills into the shin bone in order to get medicine into the body quicker. The officers then transported him to Winthrop Hospital for further treatment. The patient, who is here today, and his name is John Balistrieri, and his wife Barbara, spent almost 2 weeks in the hospital. He's expected to make a full recovery. He had a pacemaker defibrillator implanted. If it was not for the quick response of these officers, their training, and being calm under pressure in this situation, it could have been a very different outcome. The Nassau County PBA is proud to announce police officers Sal Malone, Robert Polzer, police medics Ryan Murphy, and Jason Katz as top legislative cops of June 2022. By the way, John is a retired New York City police officer.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. I would not be here if it was not for the efforts of the gentleman behind me and a nurse that could not be here. She was from New Jersey, and as soon as I collapsed, she immediately started CPR. Her name was Angelica De Flipper. By the grace of God, I'm here, and the gentleman behind me, police officers, all the EMTs, Dr. Klein Fine from Winthrop Hospital, and all the doctors and nurses. And that's the only reason why I'm still standing here today. And thank you, and God bless them.
Thank you very much.
Oh, and any of the medics or officers want to say anything?
No, thank you.
Okay, all right. Legislator Frey, would you like to say a few things?
You gentlemen are in the 8th Legislative District, which I represent. You saved the life of one of our community members and a retired police officer. I just want to recognize you and thank you for what you've done. I know Officer Malone since he's a little boy because he grew up around the corner from my house, and so it's nice to see that you grew into a fine young man. And I knew your dad, God rest his soul. It was wonderful. But for all of you, you are in the best traditions of Nassau County's finest. And so we thank you for your quick response, for applying your training, and for saving a life. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Legislator Frey. In a few moments, we'll have you come up, and we'd like to take a photograph with you. But in the meantime, we're going to have the detectives as well. All right, so for the presentation with respect to the detectives, I would ask Jeff Gross, the president of the Detective Association, Inc.
A little taller than Kevin. Sorry, Kevin. I just want to thank the presiding officer, Rich Nicolello, Minority Leader Kavan Abrams, and the full legislative body for taking the time out to honor 8th Squad Detectives Jonathan Delmure, Stephen Lerner, Anthony Montesano, and Michael Neglia. This is a case that is kind of old-fashioned police work. It's the tenacity in this that we really honor. So on February 16th, a 52-year-old woman in Levittown was robbed in her driveway at gunpoint. They had nothing to go on other than the description from the victim. The detectives ended up developing probable cause to make this arrest, but it took 3 weeks to do it. And what they did was they were able to recover the purse that was stolen and the cell phone. They canvassed the area where those items were recovered. One was in Queens and the other was in Nassau County. They were able to get videotapes of those places and use that to help their investigation. This woman who was robbed worked at a used car dealer shop, and she had $40,000 in cash in her purse, and they were able to investigate that and determine only a few people had known about that. They watched the videotape from the car dealership, and they were able to see a car that drove by, and then they recognized the same car where the other items were recovered. They noticed a particular sticker on the car. Through 20 or more different video canvases and areas, they were able to develop a plate, but the plate ended up coming back stolen. Through more police work and tenacity, they were able to get a description of the vehicle. They notified NCIS on the license plate. They put the vehicle was wanted, armed and dangerous suspects possible, and they put the description of the vehicle in there, and they asked if anybody had seen that car to notify them. They put it out on a license plate reader. The car ended up coming up in Hempstead. They went to the area. Nassau County Police stopped the vehicle. The guy came out shooting. There was a gun battle ensued. Luckily, nobody was hurt or injured, but the subject was arrested. They closed out other multiple cases of shootings and robberies with this suspect, and Nassau County is a safer place for them because of the work that these gentlemen did. I know I'm just summing it up, but if you think about it, for 3 weeks, they're working on this case while working on other cases that are coming in every day. It's basically a triage situation, and the 4 of them worked on this when they had the time, which was a lot of time, and oftentimes on their own time, ran in to do a photo array to show the victim, to make the identification. And so my congratulations to these gentlemen for doing what I consider above and beyond. It was old-fashioned police work with technology, and these guys worked above and beyond on county time and their own time to get a dangerous person off the street, and I want to congratulate them for that.
After any of the detectives want to say a few words?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Legislator Ferretti.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. And detectives, I think any time you hear of a heinous crime committed like this in one of your individual districts, you take particular notice. For this one, it was actually even, I took even more notice because it actually happened about 25 feet away from my front door. That's where this crime happened. And so I was on the phone with Commissioner Ryder the night of, and what really strikes me about all the work that all of you put into solving this crime was the video that you were able to look at and somehow figure out that this was the car that was used for this crime, because the video that one of the videos you saw was actually the Ring video from my sister's house right next door, which was, I'm a car guy, and I could not figure out what type of car that was. So it's really incredible, and it's a testament to not just your work, but our entire police department that we have the resources in place and this technology that has assisted you in solving this crime. And the work you did was incredible. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, from our community's heart, for what you do, because as we could see from what happened with the PBA member, the police officers who stopped the car, this was a very dangerous man who was willing to shoot people if he got caught. And who knows what other heinous crimes he would have committed had you not put in the time and effort that you did to solve this crime. So thank you all very much, and God bless you.
Okay, come on up for a presentation. Thank you. You want to come up? right, so county regretfully is going to be losing one of our leaders at the end of this month, this coming month, and that would be our Commissioner of Health, Dr. Larry Eisenstein. Come on up, Dr. Eisenstein. Dr. Eisenstein has been the county's health commissioner since 2011. Under his leadership, the department received public health accreditation in 2017. In 2018, the county health department was the local health department of the year, as identified by the National Association of County and City Health Officials. We have received 22 Model Promising Innovative Practice Awards, and in 2020, Nassau County Health Department was ranked the first in New York State in both major categories by the University of Wisconsin Health Rankings. Dr. Eisenstein was our health leader during the most extreme circumstances, the most difficult times, the biggest health emergency this county has probably ever seen. His outstanding leadership during the pandemic certainly was felt by all of us and by our residents as well. He was a leader on the team that responded to the pandemic, liaison with all of the public health systems. Under his leadership and guidance, we set up some of the first testing sites, ran it the most efficient, effective way as possible in this entire state. Under his leadership, our county health department, our county created some of the first vaccine sites, and has continued to do those throughout when the boosters came out. And again, did it some of the most effective, efficient ways in the state of New York. He assisted constituents in need any time we called upon him. And, you know, personally for us, for the 19 of us, during the height of the pandemic, when all of us were starved for information, we had weekly briefings which were given to us by Dr. Eisenstein. And he gave us the information that we needed at this most severe public health crisis in a calm, reasoned way. He enabled us to understand what the statistics and what the trends made. He gave us a realistic outlook. He provided, you know, firm leadership that avoided the extremes of the issue and some of the hysteria that was going on. All of us used that information to communicate to our residents. So thousands upon thousands of our residents were receiving this information indirectly from you, Dr. Eisenstein. And again, your leadership during the course of this pandemic has been extraordinary. I think all of us are grateful. All of our residents who are aware are grateful. And certainly for me, and I think for all of us, it's been an honor and privilege to serve with you. And we thank you for all your service to the county.
Thank you.
Before you go, we have the Legislator Walker, Legislator Ford, and anyone else who wants to join in.
Thank you.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. And I've had the pleasure of serving as the Health Chair Committee the entire time that Dr. Eisenstein has been here, and as long as I've been on the legislature. And I could honestly say that no matter what I reached out for, no matter what question I had, no matter how many times I might have bothered him, and especially, as Presiding Officer said, during those COVID times when, you know, residents would call or a school district would call and have a question, and we could reach out, and, you know, even if he couldn't get back to us immediately, he would always get back to us. And I cannot thank you for all that you have done for us in this entire time that you've been here, 12 plus years, and wish you the very, very best in your new position. And aside from that, on a personal note, for being such a dear friend, and our friendship has grown over these 12 and a half years, and I can tell you that I will miss your expert knowledge here, but I will especially miss a friend that I had here over these years. So God bless you, and our friendship will continue.
Thank you.
You are going to be missed, Dr. Eisenstein. I remember you, like whatever emergencies or disasters impacted our county, you were always there at the ready to be able to guide us through it. I know most recently, of course, through this pandemic, but I'll never forget that like rainy sort of day that we got together. I guess it was a day after Sandy hit the South Shore, and especially the city of Long Beach. And we were there, and you were there to take a look at the situation. You visited the communities to see how impacted they were, the water levels, what kind of damage has been done, what possible health problems we were going to face, the fact that our sewage treatment plants weren't working, water wasn't drinkable at that point. So, and I'll never forget too, on behalf of the many residents that lived at the Hannah Kamenoff Center, I credit you with making sure that they got to a safe destination before that storm hit. And, a lot of times everybody likes to be polite and like not step on anybody's toes, but sometimes you got to be that person that does it. And, this is not common knowledge, and I hope I'm not embarrassing you, but, Dr. Eisenstein, we had somebody who was running a facility and they wanted to wait to the last possible minute to evacuate our seniors. And, Dr. Eisenstein was telling me that, when he had coordinated to get all these ambulances to go down on the Sunday to remove the patients, and they were turned away, and he wanted to throw his hands up and say, it's not my problem, but he just thought of those people down in Louisiana that were left behind, and felt that he needed to, even if he was going to make enemies, he'd rather do it with a clean conscience. So he made a call to our State Department, Department of Health Chair, Dr. Shah, I believe it was, who then had agencies go down on that Monday morning, right before the storm hit. We were able to take those people out of the nursing home and bring them to places so that they remain safe. And of course, the nursing home as well as the hospital did go underwater because it's right on the bay. So you showed great initiative, and I also think great courage, because sometimes, you don't know how people are going to react to when you do push. And I always thank you for always being that person, because regardless of what issue I spoke with you about, whether or not we had our problems with our water, parents felt that their children were being, it was tainted water affecting their health. You personally went down and met with the family, spoke with them. You made them feel comfortable. You gave them assurances. And, so no matter what hit Long Beach, you always say, and whatever hit the county, I have to say that you really are a great leader. And with all the awards that you have received on the national level, I just think, you're a phenomenal individual, and I wish you luck into wherever you go. But I want to tell you, you're breaking my heart.
I'm not going far.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Legislator Ferretti, and then Legislator Rhodes.
Dr. Eisenstein, not to belabor the point, but the job that you and your entire team did during the COVID pandemic was really second to none. And I can't thank you enough for all that. But I don't think, obviously we all know the job you did, which was tops, I would think, in the country during COVID. But you've done so many other great things as your time as commissioner. And, whether it be spending your 4th of July talking to me about mice in a movie theater.
Yeah. I was going to bring that up.
Which, by the way, Monday's the 4th of July, as you know. I plan on, but even as recently as the Legionnaire outbreak that happened in my district, I think me and Steve Rhodes' district just a few months ago. I mean, coming off of, or at least towards the tail end of the pandemic, another outbreak, and you handled it so efficiently and professionally, and gave our residents so much confidence that you had everything under control, and you did.
Thank you.
And so, look, I'll be pretty short, but just thank you for everything. Good luck in the future. God bless you.
Thank you.
Just jump in, Steve.
And just Larry, I mean, the work that you've done is simply incredible. And you always hear the phrase that sometimes the man finds the moment, sometimes the moment finds the man. When the man happens to step up in occasion after occasion, I don't know how to adequately describe that. You were an exceptional health commissioner, an exceptional person. I want to thank you for your consistency, for your leadership, whether it was Legionnaires or whether it was COVID. You were the person that when we were getting hysteria from everywhere else, everywhere you turned, every time you turned on the news, every time you listened to what was coming out of the federal government, the conflicting information that was coming out of the state government, As an infectious disease specialist yourself, you were the perfect person to have in the moment where Nassau County residents needed you most. And as Denise said, it breaks my heart that we're not going to have you as that resource, but something tells me that you know, when I need to pick up the phone to call for advice on what to say on the next coronavirus update, hopefully there are no more of those ever. You know, when we have an issue going on with whether it's safe for schools to meet, or the youth ministry program that I run, safe for us to conduct an activity, you were always there for us, always there with accurate, reasoned, rational information. And, you know, trust comes very easily. I trust you more than some of the information, than almost all of the information that we get out of any other source. So I want to thank you for everything that you've done for Nassau County's residents. You know, it's a shame that, you know, today obviously we're drawing some attention to it, but the work that you did during COVID, your work was equally as amazing throughout your term as commissioner. And it's a shame that the residents of Nassau County don't know that, because if they did, the accolades would be pouring in for everything that you've done for all of us over the course of your 11 years here working for the county. So, Larry, I want to wish you the best of luck. I know that you're not moving far,
Right.
and I know that we'll still be in touch.
Yeah.
But just an amazing job, and thank you so much for everything that you've done.
Thank you.
Commissioner Eisenstein, I like to echo the sentiments of my colleagues. I won't belabor the point as well, but I really thank you for being always accessible, calling you at any hour of the day, the night, the morning, and not only counseling me in how to better communicate to the residents of Legislative District 2, but also speaking directly to school personnel and the like to make sure that they got timely information and as accurate as one could be in an ever-changing, fluid situation. I also want to thank you because we had very candid conversations about the identifying the disparities in being able to deliver testing and vaccines into our communities and for our, you know, underserved communities and also our elderly. And you and I spoke very early on when there was only that internet access. And we got together and talked about setting up a phone line so that the elderly could call in, or the visually impaired, or whoever didn't have access to computers. And so, and then we worked to make sure that there was some equity built into access to the vaccines. And so for that, I say thank you. Thank you for being culturally competent in that fashion and for delivering. And I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Take good care.
Thank you. Thank you. And very kind words, very humbling. I'm normally not a nervous public speaker, but today I am. It's a little weird. But it's an exciting time, obviously a very emotional time, because that people don't know that the work of the health commissioner, and until you've done it, I thought when I was new I would understand what it is, but it truly is 24 hours a day, 365 days. And my term is ending, my second term. The term for Commissioner of Health is a 6-year term appointed by the State Health Department, and I take the term seriously, and I felt that at this point it was time for me to try new endeavors rather than commit to another 6-year term. Very appreciative. Legislator Nicolello, nobody could have been more respectful as a presiding officer of me and the Health Department. You've always, anytime you needed anything, were responsive and receptive, and I greatly appreciate the respect you've shown to me and my department, and I'll talk about them in a minute, because there's a lot of kind words coming to me, but it doesn't matter how good I am, there's only so much we could achieve without the incredible Department of Health staff behind me. So I do want to talk about them briefly, but I can tell stories of work I've done with basically all of you over the years, and Sandy's what I thought was going to be the landmark work of my life, and none of us predicted COVID would come. As an infectious disease specialist, we understand that respiratory pandemics can and likely will happen, but I don't think any of us thought of the impact that we were going to see. Legislator Walker, you've become like family. Since I've been the Commissioner of Health, you've been the chairman of the Health Committee, and so that naturally put us together on numerous issues. I've enjoyed our discussions, and I've enjoyed all that we've been able to achieve, and you've been a wonderful friend, and I think of you as family, so thank you. And I could literally tell a story probably about all of you, but just a few moments stand out in my mind. Legislator Ford, I was going to not bring up what happened with the hospital there, but I was going to talk about E. coli in the water as a quick example. But when I look back, if you were to ask me the single most important decision that I made, I was not going to bring this up, but since you did, was absolutely mandating that those facilities on the waterfront were evacuated. It's dangerous and very costly to evacuate facilities. And after the year before, we had Hurricane Irene, which turned inland and didn't hit us after we evacuated. We stuck with the plan and mandated them to evacuate, and many people would have died had we not made that decision. If you ask me my single most important decision, it wasn't with COVID at all. It was with Sandy, a decade ago or whenever that was. So thank you for all of that. And Legislator Bino, I was going to mention the work that we did and the partnership that you provided. The health department really is simple. We just want people to live, and we want them to be healthy. That's it. There's no other motive. Live and be healthy. And the work that we did together in your community, bringing the residents of Westbury in for vaccination, absolutely saved lives, and I thank you for that. And Legislator Szilagyi, I was thinking back when there was we needed to do some education regarding the water supply of Elmont and the myths that were going around about how the water was responsible for prostate cancer. We did great work educating the community with yourself and with Assemblywoman Szilagyi as well. Please thank her for that as well. Those are the moments I think back where when you're a practicing doctor and you see somebody get better, they shake your hand and they give you a hug, and you get that personal satisfaction. When you go into public health, you don't get that. But you have to go to sleep knowing that what you've did improved lives and saved lives. And I am, between COVID and all of these other moments, so aware of what we've done to help people in Nassau County live longer and live healthier. I'm very proud of that. And Legislator Ferretti, we could tell the story about rats in the movie theater, and I was going to bring that up. And, I have so many stories I could go through for everybody, but I'm just very, very appreciative. And Legislator Rhodes, I still live in your district, so now I get to call you about the potholes and whatever else I'm going to deal with. But I am here as a resource. I do want to share that I've accepted a position at Catholic Health. I'm going to be the Vice President of Community and Public Health and impacting the public health disparity measures and making sure that we continue. This is going to be, especially with the new Medicaid requirements for payment, it's going to be a responsibility that was very exciting to me at a time when I wasn't ready to commit to another 6-year term. Most important for that, when you're the Commissioner of Health, it's 365 days a year, even on vacation. My wife, who's watching from a little bungalow at a sleepaway camp upstate, hello to my beautiful wife who is giving me the strength to do this. It's not easy on them. It's not easy when we finally get date night to go out to dinner and calls come in every single day of the year, and I loved it. It's addicting almost. But I need to pay more attention to my wife and my kids. My older daughter's going off to college. It happens so fast, you don't even realize it. So I want to thank them. The staff of the health department that you have, the commissioner doesn't win Health Department of the Year. The health department and the community together. Our health department with our infrastructure of incredible hospitals. Our partners at Northwell, Mount Sinai, and NYU, and of course Catholic, they are second to none. It doesn't matter which hospital you end up in, you're going to get really great care. And that's something that makes it a little bit easier to be the health commissioner here. But I am just so grateful. This was a job that it's once in a lifetime. There are more people on the Yankees and Mets pitching staffs right now than have ever been the Nassau County Commissioner of Health. So I don't for a second take it for granted. I loved every minute of it. It was a very hard decision. I am particularly grateful to County Executive Blakeman, who discussed with me various ways that maybe I would stay, and I appreciate that opportunity. I appreciate all of the county executives I worked for. County Executive Curran was with me throughout COVID, and County Executive Mangano gave me this opportunity after County Executive Swazi had hired me as Deputy Commissioner. That's 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats, and I'm so proud that I've been able to work with everybody on both sides, because public health really doesn't care. Public health is about helping people live longer and healthier, period. That's it. And so to all of you, it's been an honor and a pleasure. You all had Mary Ellen here representing me. She retired. Now you have Andy Simone, who has led our Emergency Preparedness Bureau and our Communicable Disease Director now took over that in the middle of COVID. Think about that. And Dr. Buckman, who's our school's liaison, our head epidemiologist, and as good as there is, and of course, one of my personal most important people in my life, who's become a very, very, very close lifelong friend, and my attorney, and every good commissioner needs an attorney. Jerry's here. The staff at the health department is incredible. That's why you mentioned 22 Model and Promising Practice Awards, national awards. That's more, I believe, if not, it's pretty close, more than the other 58 counties of New York combined, and that includes New York City. And so, I don't know, Albany won a couple, and Tompkins, the Cornell people, they've won a couple lately, so it might not be more than all of them combined, but until a year or two ago, it was more than all of them combined. I'm not the one writing all of these. I'm pushing it and motivating everybody, but you have an incredible health department. The only thing I would ask is, I'll be at Catholic Health, hopefully impacting public health from there and providing whatever support to any of you and the new health commissioner, whoever that will be. And of course, I'll stay out of their hair because I won't be there anymore. But once COVID passes, people tend to forget about public health. And you shouldn't, because it's about the water that we drink and the food that we eat and the air that we breathe and the diseases that are in our community. So I always say it's a time when people recognize and acknowledge public health. But my one plea, when COVID's long a memory, please support as much as you can the public health department, because they save lives, and we've seen it from start to finish, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity. Again, I'll never take it for granted. Thank you to all of you. Thank you to the county executives who've given me their trust and faith. Thank you to the best health department in the United States of America, and we have the medals on the wall to support that. To our healthcare infrastructure, which is the best. I am here till the end of July and hope to get to speak with anybody, and then I'm very excited about the next opportunity. So, thank you.
Would you please join us? All right. We have one more point of personal privilege. That would be Legislator John Ferretti.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. And Dr. Tony McDonald, I'd like to just take a moment to recognize you. It's an honor and a privilege to recognize Levittown Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Tony McDonald, here today. Dr. McDonald is a true Levittown success story, where she entered the Levittown School District as a sixth grader and graduated Levittown Memorial High School in 1977. After graduating at Delphi University with a BA in Social Sciences in '92 and an MA in Secondary Education in '95, she obtained a teaching position at Division Avenue High School, where incidentally she was lucky enough to have me as a student, or maybe unfortunate enough to have me as a student. While teaching, she continued to pursue her education at Hofstra University, earning a Certificate of Advanced Study in Policy and Administration Studies in 2000, and a Doctorate in Education and Foundation, Leadership, and Policy Studies in 2013. In 2003, Dr. McDonald was promoted to Social Studies Chair In 2005 to Director of Pupil Services. In 2008 to Assistant Business Manager, and in 2009 to Assistant Superintendent for Business and Finance. In 2010, Dr. McDonald left Levittown School District and entered the Plainview School System. The Levittown School District was not the same until 2014 when Dr. McDonald came back as our Superintendent of Schools. Since taking over as Superintendent, she has continued to ensure the district's mantra of success for every student that was not just a tagline but a reality. Most recently, she's led our district through the pandemic, having great success limiting the spread of COVID-19 within the schools. Not just as a legislator who works closely with the district, but as a father with children in the district, I knew my children were safe going to school every single day during the pandemic, and that's a true testament to your leadership, Dr. McDonald. Recently, Dr. McDonald was named president of the Nassau County Council of School Superintendents, which has made our entire community so proud. But perhaps more important than all the accolades and awards Dr. McDonald has received, and there's been plenty of them, like the New York State Senate Liberty Award, the New York State Assembly Women of Distinction Award, the Nassau County Trailblazer Award, and so many others, is that Dr. McDonald is incredibly involved in our community. She's at every sports game in our schools, every award night, every moving up ceremony and graduation. She's a member of all the community the Levittown Community Organization, and is a true Levittown icon. On July 5th, Dr. McDonald will be retiring after 27 years in the education system. While the Levittown community, of course, wishes you the best in your retirement, you'll be sorely missed. You've made such a tremendous impact on generations of students, teachers, parents, and faculty. Just a few weeks ago, I was watching TV with my son, which was almost certainly either a Met game or Star Trek, two things that we share in common, a love for Dr. McDonald. And he said, Dad, I saw on Abby Action News, which is like a movie skit they put together, the kids put together, they're in 4th and 5th grade, that Dr. McDonald was retiring. And he said, she's so nice, I'm going to miss her. I said, well, me too, Johnny. And he said, yeah, well, she's the only person at more stuff in Levittown than you. And I said, yeah. I said, you're right. But I hope that doesn't change, Dr. McDonald. We still need you at everything. So in closing, I want to thank you for everything you've done for former students like me, current students, parents, teachers, faculty, and the community as a whole. But Pat, her husband who's here today, don't get used to having her around, because she's going to be just, like I said, she's going to be just as much out in the community as always. Again, congratulations on your retirement. I wish you the best, and God bless. Thank you.
Would you like to say a few words, Dr. McDonald?
Got it. Thank you so much for having me. I'm humbled to be here with the top cops of Nassau and Dr. Eisenstein, who was wonderful. And I'm just very lucky to be in a school district in the greatest county in the world. Thank you very much for your hard work. Thank you.
So we'll move on to the public comment portion of our meeting. Before I do, I know that Farron Siminoff has submitted a slip for this. She's the president of the Nassau County Community College Faculty Association and full-time faculty. But I believe you want to speak on the item itself, so I'll hold off calling you up until we call the item in a little while. So we will go to our speakers, first of which is a familiar speaker who's been with us for many, many years as the liaison from the PBA, who will be retiring soon, Mr. Todd Torsha. Todd, come on up. Todd, it's been a pleasure to have you here. It's been a great working relationship. We appreciate all the hours that you put in listening to our meetings. You probably should have gotten combat pay for that, but thank you for your service to us and to the residents of Nassau County.
Todd Torsha, did you get that? Frankie, got it? I just wanted to say a few words. I'm really not a public speaker per se, but I just want to tell you how much I appreciate and how much I understand how much work that this whole board does for the citizens of Nassau County. I started on John Ferretti's post 36 years ago in Levittown. I've been an officer with the PBA for 32 years. I remember, and I've been on PAC for all those 32 years. Public Political Action Committee, which you guys don't. I don't know if the people behind me know what that is. In 1995, I heard of this new branch that was coming to Nassau County. It was the legislature. I worked on, I might even worked on Richard's campaign back then. But I've been, working those campaigns, walking the streets and spreading your words. But I never really fully understood or appreciated how much time, how much effort, and how much compassion you have for everybody in this county, especially during COVID, where both sides got together and did something that I was taught 36 years ago by Gary Delaraba and also the cops that I work with. Just do the right thing. For your whole career, just do the right thing. And I believe I have. I believe the Nassau County Police Department does that. You guys have the best police department in the country, maybe even the world, which you are familiar with now with doing the top cops, and you can see all the great things that they do. So just stay with doing the work you do and continue supporting the police. That's all I ask. Thank you, and good luck to Dr. Eisenstein. I don't know if he's still here. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, Todd. You are going to be missed. I don't know what we're going to do without the pastries you bring us, but
the sugar rush?
The sugar rush helps us get through these meetings. But no, in all honesty, as a police officer, we thank you very much for your service to our community, because it is a tough job and it's a dangerous job. And, for you, always having you here at our meetings, always advocating for the officers, for the police department, and for the communities, because I know that even with the backpack giveaway, I don't think I would have known about it and how important it was until you brought it to my attention, say, hey, how about we send some guys out, pick a neighborhood, and, so it's nice that we're able to go out with your fellow police officers and, provide school supplies and backpacks to students who are in great need. And it's always been a great event, and it's something that underscores how involved our police are with our children and with their communities, without having to be in uniform or anything like that, just more on a human, personal level. So, but you've always been one of those people that we know we could go over and speak with you, ask you questions, make sure we don't make a fool of ourselves in front of the police department. You've always been honest with us, and I do appreciate this. And I think that even your fellow officers and your PBA, your members of the PBA, are going to miss you greatly as well, because you're one of those standout people. And I have to say, I wish you good luck in your retirement, and don't be a stranger. That's all right? Thank you.
Okay, Brent Hill, regarding the Five Towns Community Center. Press the button.
Good afternoon. Hold on to this. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here. As I said, I'm the Executive Director of the Five Towns Community Center. I'm very humbled and proud to be the Executive Director of the organization that's been around this July 115 years. We've been in our exact location where we are now for 115 years. For those of you that are doing the math, thank you. That means we're founded in 1907, for those of you that are kind of calculating in your head there. So during those 115 years, we provided services for thousands and thousands of people. During Hurricane Sandy, we were actually a refuge for folks who lost their homes. And in today's era, we actually never shut our doors during the pandemic. So we were open 100% for our food pantry. We're also partner with the county, and we partner with several hospitals for vaccine distributions, mass distributions, booster shots, and testing as well. So we're a vital part of the community, and the reason we're here today is because we started in 1907, as I said, but in the 1970s, we entered into a partnership with the county. So the building we're in is a county building. We were given a, is that countdown for me? We were given a 50-year lease. I'm looking at the countdown there.
You can have some additional time.
Thank you, sir.
Just to finish, yeah.
So in the 1970s, we entered into a partnership with the county. We have a 50-year lease, which is up in July of 2024. So the reason we're here today is to ask you for your support in bringing our lease renewal and renegotiation of our lease up to this body. And I brought with me a number of individuals who are going to speak on behalf of the agency. And let me look at my quick notes to make sure. So our budget is $2.5 million annually. We serve about 7,000 to 10,000 people annually. We have 100 employees. And I think that's all I'm going to say for now. I'm going to ask a few people to speak because time is limited. Thank you.
I have, okay.
Good afternoon. It looks like I got voted to go first.
Okay, just.
My name is Gina Marie D'Amatos. I am the Five Towns Head Start Program Director. Did you know that a single mother earning $50,000 a year with 2 children under the age of 5 would pay more than 60% of her income for child care? Here in Nassau County, the average cost of a center-based care is $15,000 annually for an infant, $13,000 annually for a toddler, and $12,000 for preschoolers. While many Long Island families' budgets are already stretched thin, the cost of child care is expected to increase by an average of $468 per year. And in 10 years, the average cost of child care will consume more than 16% of a median family's income. That's 33% cost increase over the next 10-year period. Only 10% of 4-year-olds on Long Island have access to publicly funded pre-kindergarten programs compared to universal access in New York City, where 100% of 4-year-olds can attend public pre-K. So what can policymakers do to ensure that affordable child care is possible? Because all children deserve a quality setting with an educated workforce regardless of their zip code. Children in Head Start get nutritious meals, health screenings. Families get support in accessing the health services they need at Head Start programs. We help parents and families achieve their own goals, including employment, housing, and adult education. Readiness for school and beyond is fostered through individual learning experiences, through relationships with adults, play, and spontaneous instruction. Children grow in many aspects of their development: social skills, emotional well-being, language, literacy, mathematics, and science concepts. At the Five Towns Head Start, we serve 76 children and families from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. for income-eligible family members. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. Well, good afternoon, distinguished legislators. I am Portia Robinson. I am the Program Director for Five Towns Counseling Services, formerly known as CODA. CODA Counseling Services started in 1969 in a response to the lack of drug treatment services for heroin users in Lawrence and Inwood in the surrounding Five Towns community. It is a privilege to be with you today to share with you the mission. Our mission is to provide these services with professional staff to make them abreast of the latest treatment modalities to meet the needs of those seeking assistance for themselves or someone that they know, where substance use or addiction disorders has interfered with employment, health, education, family and self-image, and relationships, life in general. Five Towns Counseling Services, formerly known as CODA's vision, is to be the preferred provider, where we focus on solution-focused substance use disorders, servicing the Lawrence, Inwood, and surrounding Five Towns community. Our philosophy at Five Towns Community Counseling Services is to provide this continuum of care for alcohol and substance use addicted persons. And we also specialize in gambling counseling. Our clinical treatment team takes great pride in themselves offering these integrated services that are holistic and also trauma-informed. We treat addiction as a primary chronic disease. It does affect the brain reward system, motivation, memory, and all of its functions. And this shows up in our patients and those seeking services biologically, psychologically, socially, and yes, even their spirituality. Without treatment or engagement in recovery activities, addiction is progressive. I stand here before you today asking your support to continue these vital services in the Five Towns and Lawrence community. Currently, we are reaching out not only to the chemically addicted, but also to the reentry population. This is a healthcare disparity, and I was grateful to hear that as an attention here in these chambers. Currently, we are working to address some of the healthcare disparities for the reentry population that is in the Lawrence and Five Towns community. New York State Criminal Justice Service reports in Lawrence, New York, and Nassau, women and men have the highest rates of incarceration and recidivism due to contributing factors of extreme poverty, lack of supportive resources, health care, and addiction and accessible mental health services. Five Towns Community Center provides this. We provide services on a fee scale for those who do not have insurance, as well as for those who have insurance. We accept multiple insurances. Okay. New York State Division of Criminal Justice Service connects both male and female incarceration and recidivism rates to at least be connected to DWI and drug arrest. This is important data, and this is the reason why we have now started our reentry program to also service this population. Why, you say, what kind of impact will this have? This will have a substantial impact because stabilizing the reentry population will address the poverty, the housing and mental health needs, as well as the addiction and wellness needs for individuals, families, and communities to all become stronger. I would like to leave you with this. Five Towns Community Center is a stronghold for families and a pathfinder for children. Please support our future of the citizens depending on these much-needed services. Thank you for your time.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Sasha Young, and I work at the Five Towns Community Center. I'm the summer camp director, the after-school director, the food pantry director, among other things. I'm here today because it's important to note that our community is one of the most economically challenged on Long Island. While a lot of people are very affluent and there's a lot of money in the towns surrounding us, in Inwood, in our school district, more than 70% of the children are living below poverty level. Right now, during the COVID crisis, we have a food pantry that is serving over 5,000 families on the South Shore of Long Island, from Elmont to Point Lookout. While there are other pantries available, maybe in the surrounding areas more local to them, our community center is able to provide services in multilingual and services that are not provided in other food pantry locations. It was funny that Dr. Eisenstein was here today because our community center actually partnered with him under Laura Curran's administration, and we were a location for not only testing, but vaccine distribution through drive-throughs and in our building. So I just wanted to piggyback that. Also, Hurricane Sandy, myself included, we lost everything. Our house was under 10 feet of water. If it hadn't been for the services that were available through the community center, I'm not sure how we would have survived. At this time, let's see, in the last 2 years, our youth advocacy group met with Police Commissioner Ryder. They reestablished the PAL in our location after 30 years. We have so many parents involved with the children now. We have hundreds of children registered. We also have an after-school program in which we service not only our community, but the Hewlett, Franklin, and Ogden schools. Let's see. Right now, it seems that we have entered into a food desert. All of our local grocery stores have closed, and the nearest one is a mile away, where families have to walk to actually get to there. So our food pantry is actually saving lives daily. Our youngest volunteer is 4. Our oldest volunteer that volunteers weekly is 95. So we are bringing families together cross-generationally. We have a community garden in which we also grow food to sustain in our community. We have partnerships with Trader Joe's, Costco, Target, Gourmet Glatt, Rock and Wrap It Up. We also work with Rock and Wrap It Up to hold the Veterans Farmers Market. I know many of you know Sid Mandelbaum and the awesome work that he does. We work with him twice a week. All the food that he brings from his location ends up in Gammy's pantry. I see you quickly. As far as safety and keeping our neighborhood safe, we have over 400 teens registered in our after-school sports programs. Idle hands, get themselves into trouble. It's not luck that we've been able to keep our neighborhood safe. It's all of the work that we're putting in through our youth advocacy group, which meets with the 4th Precinct monthly, talking about issues that we have. So lastly, I just wanted to say, piggybacking again on Dr. Eisenstein, I've also been the recipient of the Nassau County Trailblazers Award and Assemblywoman Miller's Woman of Distinction. But that is all due to the hard work that we do at the Five Towns Community Center. There are thousands of families that will not have services if we can't get a lease. There is no other location for safety for our children and families except our building. So I'm very grateful and thankful for you listening to us, and I really look forward to seeing a new lease soon. I noticed it was important to work politically with both sides, and it's a political time, but the challenges in our community have not changed due to the changing politics. So thank you very much.
For giving me this time. My name is Dr. Robert Power. I work with Portia Robinson, who is the Substance Abuse Program Director. I am the Clinical Director, but I am a product of Five Towns Community Center. I was born and raised in the area. The Community Center not only supported me, but my family, and it helped us to overcome some of the social determinants of health that the community has. No child can decide in what community they're born in. However, we can put the resources in place to support them to overcome some of the barriers from income, health assessments, and things of that nature. With the help and support of Portia Robinson, our program director, we've developed a program for people who are outside of our clinic scope, where we can support these people who may just need a little help, who may need to be connected to services, who may need more than just counseling, but just learn how to ask the right questions with the right people. And part of that at Five Town is we have a supportive system there, from the food pantry to health equity to supporting individuals who are undocumented. And all these things together help make my community, which is Five Towns, a much better and healthier place. And not having that support system would take away a lot of the benefits that's keeping and supporting the neighborhood, and may even affect the neighborhood in a more negative, impacted way. So we ask that this legislator please consider, move quickly to make sure and instill that these services are also maintained and provided. Thank you.
I think we
Just,
also,
in closing-
we also have a slip from Timothy Benston, if he wants to speak.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Timothy Benston. I also am an employee at the Five Towns Community Center. I am director of the Health and Prevention Services, which is that arm of the organization that provides HIV prevention, counseling, and testing services to the people in the community of Five Towns. I don't have to really go into detail too much about the types of folks we see because my colleagues have already explained that. However, I do want to talk about the sort of heightened public health emergencies that we had to face in the last 2 years dealing with providing services for those who are both infected and affected by HIV, but also dealing with COVID. So, as you know, COVID really exposed sort of once again how our society is stratified in terms of, you know, healthcare and health access and health inequities. I will say that Five Towns is one of the more fortunate organizations that has received funding from the Multiple Services Agency contract from the New York State Department of Health for almost 30 years. That's a record. And so what we want to do is to make sure that we continue to receive that funding that provides sort of overall care to those families that come in to receive prevention and care services. We link people to primary care, we link them to testing, but we also deliver